videos going. And here we go. Audio in 3, 2, 1.
Just drop that ass, bitch. It's open micers in the house. Pop that pussy with that open micers logo in your mouth. Jason with his bald ass head. Jacob looking in bed. It's open micers, bitch. Heard what I said. Drop that ass. Open micers in the house. Drop that ass, pop that pussy. Open micers in the house. Open micers in the house. Open micers is a mouse. Drop that ass, pop that pussy. Open micers in the house. The mic is now open.
That's right. The mic is now open. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig, and I found that over, as we play the theme song for more and more people, yeah, we do think that someone's eventually going to just walk off. But if the guests that we have on, can't keep a straight face, that I eventually also just lose it. So apologies for laughing through our own intro music there. Guys, we have a fantastic regional comedian on the show tonight. You know him as the producer for Oof Comedy, the creator of the ultra popular Ghost Roast in the Lafayette area, and he is a new co-host of the radio show. The name just fucking escaped me. What's the name of the show?
Laugh City Radio.
Laugh City Radio. He is the new co-host of Laugh City Radio with our buddy Drew Gotro, and is the one and only John Merrifield. What's up, man?
Hey, good to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on, man. Sorry I butchered your intro. Literally, I was thinking about the intro all day. I was like, I saw the new
you were thinking
gig.
about the milkshake you're gonna get. That's what's going through your head right now.
I was thinking about milkshakes and donuts. I think that's probably why I forgot the name of the radio show. But yeah, man, I saw that on Facebook the last couple of days. That's awesome, man, that you guys are on a legit radio station doing a show.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's kind of a dream come true. We haven't really gotten our bearings yet, but once we figure out what it's like to do a radio show, I think we're going to be pretty funny. I think it's going to be pretty entertaining.
So what's it going to be? Is it a morning show or a late night show?
It's a pre-recorded late night show. We do segments. We're still figuring out what the segments are. Sometimes we'll do sometimes we'll do sketches, radio plays. Sometimes we'll have someone come on and advertise a fake product, and that's fun. I don't know if y'all know Charles Thomas Vadrine. He's our first guest tonight, and he advertises something about he's got a business selling roadkill. So we're going to talk to him about that and see what that's like, what that's about, how that's going.
That's awesome, man. So how did you guys get on the air? How, were you approached to do the show on the radio station? Did you approach the radio station? Why Drew Gotro, of all people, are you co-hosting this with? The guy sounds like banjos. What are you doing? Who would put him on the radio?
That's so funny you say that, because I try to always play him up to, when I do my comedy show on Tuesdays, I always try to play him up to music that has a banjo in it.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's gotten to a point where he just doesn't even acknowledge it anymore, but I laugh very hard. Yeah, he does look like a banjo. Thank you. Yeah, he just hit me up and was like, Chris Logan, the guy who runs the station, asked me to do is going to help me do this show on Planet Radio, and was asking me if I wanted to be a recurring guest. And I was like, dude, I'll do every episode with you if you want. And he's like, I was hoping you'd say that. That's great. He's like, so I don't know. From there, we ended up just brainstorming ideas. And Drew and I are already friends. We already have, ever since I met him, I thought he was a really funny guy and cool dude all around. But yeah, so I think we have funny chemistry. I think the contrast of our personalities is entertaining to listen to. He's very Cajun, and I am less Cajun.
Yeah. Educated.
Oh, no, don't say that. I'm not educated. I dropped out of college, so.
That's a lot like our dynamic here on this show. Jacob is very diabetic, and I am not diabetic. So that's our
basically the same thing.
Yeah, virtually identical. We had an actual heated discussion a few episodes ago where I presented the conundrum that Kid Rock is objectively better than David Bowie. Now, And whatever terms you put that in, I didn't say he's a better musician. I didn't say he's a better person. I painted the broad stroke that Kid Rock is better than David Bowie. But that shows how different that we are, I think.
Well,
Jason likes the
two,
gay space alien, and I like frickin' America's real president. You know what I'm saying?
I will say that there is some truth to that, because of those two people, only one has actually rocked a kid, if you know what I mean. Thank you.
Wow.
And I mean, my argument, like my point that no one could really discredit, is that Kid Rock did take to task a prime Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, after Tommy Lee had already
I like how you pronounce her name like Pamela, like the uvula. Pamela Anderson.
Much like Drew Gotro, I have a very thin grasp on the English language.
Yeah, that's fun.
Dude, have you seen pictures of Kid Rock lately? The dude looks like he's going to be dead in a year. Trust me.
And that's fine, dude. On his deathbed, he will be thinking about the time he spent with Pamela Anderson.
To me, he looks now like I've always pictured him in my head. Like he's just finally come into the look that I already gave him in my head.
He looks like somebody took just a plastic skeleton and just kind of put some putty on it and some long hair to like try to recreate a human. That's kind of what he looks like now. Yeah,
that's accurate.
Dude, don't talk about recreating humans when David Bowie literally burst out of John Hurt's chest, dude. That's where he came from.
Oh man, did you know David Bowie likes to sing in A minor? It's true. Google David Bowie A minor, and you'll find out.
Don't do that. Don't Google that.
Dude, after we did this too, like I got in an argument on a friend of ours Facebook post because he shared the conundrum to his people, and someone was just being like a total jackass about it, like didn't understand the irony at all. And I didn't even realize at the point of my making the argument that David Bowie has a whole section on his Wikipedia where he just said in an interview one time that he fucking loved Hitler. He was just like, Hitler was the first rock star. I love Hitler.
Oh man. So the dating children thing isn't even the only awful thing about David Bowie.
No,
but to be fair,
50-50.
Every rock star in the 70s dated children.
Yes, that is fair. That's very fair. Every rock star in the 70s is nasty. They all a bunch of freaks back then.
They're not
just like every white man from Jason's generation owned slaves.
What?
Oh, dude.
Because you're old. Get it?
I got it.
Jesus.
This dude is so old. He owns slaves. That's good.
Yeah, that's not
comedy.
cool, Jason. Why would you do that, dude?
What's wrong with you, dude?
Why would you think that's
bad.
Okay?
My
Sign
bad.
of the times.
Let them go.
Yeah, dude, you still have them. Let them go.
Let them go. Don't make me come over there.
Shit. I got nothing to say to that. So let's just keep rolling.
I have to grab my lawsuit because my dog is about to eat it.
Yeah, dude, get that lawsuit from the dog, please.
Okay, my dog ate my lawsuit. Sorry.
Speaking of the lawsuit, you said you came to the show with some with a scoop of the lawsuit, and so let's tell everybody about the lawsuit who doesn't quite.
Yeah, I wasn't
know
trying to
about
do
it.
a segue. I just saw my dog earlier trying to chew on it, and I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, you don't need that to happen.
It won't hold up in court. I've tried it.
My dog ate my lawsuit.
Like, well, you still killed those people.
Oh man, I don't even. It's been a while since I've told the story about the lawsuit. It's about 4 years in the making. This is year 4. Basically, what happened was I was living in New York City. We had this mayor, very like right wing mayor, very like he's a lawyer, and so you know that like all of his friends are lawyers, and he's got a lot of buddies in government and in just powerful positions, whatnot. And all of his supporters are just like that kind of person, just like
Like Jacob.
Yeah, like you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't
you
know.
mean a
I mean,
brilliant
maybe. Am I
lawyer,
kidding?
dude?
Yeah. Hold on. My dog is so sad. She's over there, not over here.
Well,
Okay,
she
now
can be
she's
on the show. Throw her a pair of headphones and a microphone. She can come on.
Yeah, dude. Let's get her take on Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, she loves Kid Rock.
How do you feel
So
about Kid Rock? Bark to bang a bang diggy diggy.
bow to the wow, bow wow to bow to bang. I don't know. That's enough. That's enough. Kid Rock,
That, you
dog.
turned into Jew Gotro for a minute.
Are you saying Drew Gotro sounds like Boomhauer to you?
Yeah, dude, he for real sounds like Boomhauer.
Talking about bow to bow to bang a dang. Goddamn. All right. Well, so yeah, that guy, wow, what a jerk. And so the former mayor decided to like defund some rec centers on the poor side of town, some that I used to use when I was a kid. And he just like, it was like one after another thing of just him like showing that he has no regard for the struggling people in his community. And
Well,
and
what would
so
Jesus do? I mean, what would fuck them kids? That's what
oh,
Jesus
dude,
would say.
don't even get me started.
Hey, as a
There's like
David Bowie fan, you shouldn't say that. We'll take it literally.
yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, dude, David Bowie's never gonna come back from this.
No, he's not, dude. Speaking of what Jesus would do, not die. Am I right?
Oh, dude,
He would
never
come back
not,
from
not
that.
stay dead at least.
Yeah, couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. Yeah. So, he defunded some rec centers, and I thought it was a shitty thing to do. Am I allowed to say shitty on
Oh,
this
yeah.
podcast?
Yeah.
All right, well, I thought it was a fucked up, shitty ass thing to do. And I mean, I was powerless in New York, or so I thought, and I felt like I wanted to do something in response to the the funding of the rec centers, and so I made a Facebook event. At the time, Antifa was like in the news, big deal to these people, and so I made a Facebook event called Antifa Takes River Ranch, which River Ranch is like the rich neighborhood in our city. And so Lafayette, Louisiana, for those of you who don't know which city I live in. I live here now. I wasn't living there at the time. But yeah, so I made a event called Antifa Takes River Ranch, and it had like all kinds of jokes in the description. The time was set to like 4:20 p.m. on a Saturday. There was I made it using my meme page. Like I have this meme page for Cajun humor called Cajun Memes, and so I created the event from Cajun Memes. Like I was not trying to make this event look real. Like it was a joke entirely. But like satire often does, I expected it to dupe a few people. Definitely not as many as it ended up duping. And I guarantee like 95% of the people, I say not, I guarantee, I think like 95% of the people just didn't even read the event description, because if they had, they probably wouldn't have gotten so worked up about it. But yeah, the event description said stuff like, said we were going to gather around and do like a ceremonial flag burning where we extinguish it with Nazi tears or something like that. Like it was just so goofy and over the top. And then I was like, arms optional, legs encouraged. Like that was, I mean, that should have said it to most people, but
most right-wing Republican mayors and political figures are not known for their senses of humor. So
no, yeah, that is demonstrably true. And not only that, with like confirmation bias, whatever they read in that description, they probably just decided that it was legit and meant something different than what it meant or whatever. But people got really worked up to the point where the news caught wind and started interviewing me about it. And this was like 2 weeks before the scheduled event, I think. And so I'm being interviewed about it. I'm on like almost every local news station there is, talking about how it's a joke. And how it's not meant to be taken seriously, how Antifa is not an actual organization, just like an ideology that certain people identify with. And so it's like kind of impossible for them to, organize and take over the rich neighborhood. But it didn't matter to the city that I said all this stuff on the news, because around the time the event took place, they started talking about how they knew it wasn't real, but they still have to respond because people were scared, which was silly. It's like all you have to do is tell them don't be scared and that it's not real. Like in an official capacity, be like, we get why y'all were duped by this, but it's fake. The guy said it was fake. Y'all can chill out about it. But that's not what they did. What they did was they treated it as if it was real, and they sent every cop in the city to
Jesus.
River Ranch. And I'm not even sure that's entirely true. Every cop car in the city was in River Ranch.
Dude,
it's
and I
not
thought-
really clear that they were occupied by any cops.
Is Louisiana trying to out stupid Mississippi at this point? Like we look like geniuses over here in Mississippi as opposed to,
Hey.
Louisiana.
No,
At least we
you
accept
look
our stupidity.
maybe slightly smarter, but yeah, no, we still think very poorly of you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, we do appreciate y'all for ranking so low that in the education that we don't have to occupy that spot.
Yeah, we're
You got it, brother.
We got it. Man. we're not giving up that 50th spot to you guys. Fuck y'all.
I'll be damned. The liberals can come try to take it from me over my dead body.
Antifa's gonna take Jackson next. Get ready.
Antifa doesn't want Jackson. They don't have water.
Yeah.
That sucks. That sucks for them. Classic Flint, Michigan type town.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on over there? Do they have like dirty water?
Yeah, the water, like they don't have any. There's none. There's no water quality because there's no water.
Oh man. Well, that's the next episode. We'll get it. We'll delve into that. We're gonna uncover why that's happening. And we're
Welcome
gonna put a
to
stop
Mississippi, the fucking third world of America.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes Louisiana feels like that. The roads are very third worldy for sure.
Oh God! Don't even get me started on Louisiana roads. Jesus,
They're bad. They're bad.
Let me ask you something. I have been to, and I don't mean to like stop the story. We're gonna continue the story here in a second. I've been to Lafayette many, many times. I've been over there for my EMT training. I've been over there to play with my band several times. Every time I've been to that city, I can't figure out what's going on, like, with the roads. Like, your guys' roads just fucking go everywhere and lead to nothing. Like, even, like, and I used to go there before a GPS. And, like, I don't know how I survived it. Like, I never can there are no landmarks to be like, oh, I know this place. I could be to the same place 100 times and still not know where I'm at.
That's so true and relatable, even as a person who's lived here not their whole life, but I was born and raised here. And I still find myself like thinking that a certain place I've been to a million times is at this part of Johnson Street, not this part of Johnson Street, and then like the roads do keep getting more convoluted and more like it's ridiculous. The Camellia Johnson intersection is like infamous for just the lanes are so like confusing and you can't really tell where you're supposed to go. There's like dotted lines crossing solid lines crossing dotted lines of a different color. It's just absurd. So yeah, you're right to feel that way. I will validate those feelings for you. So where was I? So I made the event and then they sent all the cops and like from what I understand they just had a bunch of cop cars park at the location that the event was said to take place to like deter any counter or any protester or any, what do you call it, Antifa militants, I guess.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Like one guy showed up, local comedian showed up with the local Acadiana open channel public access station, and he got interviewed as like a member of Antifa. And that's on my YouTube if anybody wants to go check it out. the video I think is called like Antifa Unopposed at Rufino's on the River, which is like the restaurant and River Ranch that I set the location to. Uh, yeah, and so it was just a bunch of silliness, and so I thought, and then they sent all the cops, and I was like, that's unbelievable, and I was like, that's a huge taxpayer expense for what was announced on the news as a fake event, and then man, it must have been like 2 weeks later. There was two incidents that happened. The first one was we had a hurricane that was coming through. I forget which one it was, but uh we were hearing that Lake Charles was getting the brunt of it. And uh and just before that happened, oh yeah, we had some cops shoot this guy, Trayford Pellerin, in the back as he was like walking away. And their justification was that like he had a knife and he was going towards the store, but it was like 11 shots in his back. Like it was just so crazy. And a lot of people were very upset. A lot of local people were protesting that. So when the hurricane came through and there were refugees trying to come to Lafayette for shelter, Josh Guillory, the guy who was mayor at the time, said that we can't take any refugees because of the protests. Like for whatever reason, it wouldn't be safe, as if the protests were unsafe somehow. And there are only things that were unsafe about them were the cops that were like, tear gassing protesters and whatnot, the usual stuff. And so that all happened, plus the shooting, and that was really annoying. So I did another event.
Oh no, John.
Yeah. And this one I made called Antifa Takes a Katie in a Mall, which is the local mall. Yeah, and so that went down, or that was scheduled, and the same kind of thing happened. I don't know if I got interviewed about the second event. I think they were kind of like, okay, but yeah, so they sent a bunch of cops to the mall. This time, they were serious. They sent cops like in, I don't know if it was in riot gear or SWAT gear or whatever, but they sent armed police officers into the mall to evacuate the building. And
Jesus.
When the news station asked the local police if it was related to my event, they said no. They said this was something different. They didn't say what, but they said it was something different. So we'll put a tab on that and come back to it. Okay, so that passed. They evacuated the mall. I felt bad. Didn't realize they were going to evacuate the mall. Wasn't trying to, I thought that, okay, the first one was nothing. So why would the second one be anything? Like, why are y'all still acting like this is real when you saw the first one wasn't real? And whatever. Like a week or two later, maybe I got a call from one of the local outlets saying that, asking how I felt about the lawsuit. And I was like, lawsuit, what? And they're like, yeah, Lafayette Parish, or Lafayette Consolidated Government just filed a lawsuit against you for the Facebook events. And I was like, this is amazing. This is awesome. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's just like the idea that my hometown took something that I did, and it was so it affected them in such a way that they felt they needed to like do a whole lawsuit about it. And obviously I didn't commit any crimes because it was not a criminal case. It was I don't know, whatever you call it. It was just a lawsuit. They were just suing me. They weren't charging me with any crime. So they said that I basically cost the city a bunch of money by having them send all the cops there, even though I didn't make them do that. In fact, I discouraged anyone from reacting to it seriously. Like I tried to make it very clear that I was joking. In the lawsuit, they say stuff about how, man, they say like that they basically cited that both events as taking away resources. And I'm like, well, y'all said the second event wasn't even related like to the cops that were there. So why are you citing it in the lawsuit when you're on record saying it had nothing to do with that? But yeah, anyway, so they flip-flopped on that. And then I had a bunch of lawyers. Once that came out in the news, I had a bunch of lawyers like chomping at the bit to try to. That's exaggeration. I had 3 lawyers trying to represent me, and then like a couple I reached out to, and we ended up not working together. But I chose this guy who was licensed in both Louisiana and New York, in case that mattered. And he was a really chill dude. He didn't like muzzle me or anything. He didn't make me like watch what I say about the case. I don't know, for whatever reason, he trusted my judgment. I don't know if that was the right thing, but we appealed or whatever to 3 different courts, including the Supreme Court, and we got denied every single time. They said that the lawsuit did have merit, that they had a right to sue me, and that if we went to court, it would be like, I would have to prove that. I guess I don't know the money. I don't know. I'm not really sure. We never got that far. Basically, after the courts ruled against me, they kind of just sat on it for like 4 years. We didn't get any, and I think what they were waiting for was for Josh to either be reelected or not be reelected. And now that he's out of office, we wouldn't have the option to depose him, the former mayor, which was something we wanted. We wanted to be able to like put him on record, responding to our questions about why he acted the way he did and why he mobilized the police the way he did. But he lost his election. And I remember when he lost, everybody started texting me congratulations. And then I went and I commented on the new mayor's victory post, please unsue me. And it got a bunch of haha reacts, including from her. So I was like, cool, maybe she's gonna unsue me. And then I just waited longer. It's just a big waiting game, and I'm just like, okay, well, and I should say that prior to some of the rulings, it was determined I owe the city's lawyers $27,000 of money.
Jesus Christ.
And that's before whatever the lawsuit might determine I owe. So the lawsuit said that they could sue me up to $75,000, but it didn't specify a number because they didn't have a number in mind. They didn't know how much they spent on resources. They were just kind of like, as long as it's not too much money to where it goes to federal court, which is anything over $75,000, because they knew that if it went to federal court, then some judges that weren't fucking podunk town, beholden to local officials type judges, they knew that if it went to federal judges, they might not have as strong of a case. It might be dismissed as frivolous. So they kept it in the local state courts, and that really helped them. It hurt me a lot. Okay, so we fast forward back to modern times. Here we are. It is 2024, and it's 2 days ago, and it's a week ago, and I get an email from my lawyer saying that LCG would like to see if I want to dismiss the case. They sent a document, and if I sign it, case goes away. And I was, torn on it because the case, the document also said I can't sue them back.
Of course it did.
And it says I still owe $27,000. And so, it's not something I wanted to sign because I would like to, take it to court. But my lawyer did not want to spend any more resources on it either. He was working for very little money. I would say that. And so he's just like, dude, just sign it and move on with your life. And I did. I signed it, and I am no longer being sued by Lafayette Consolidated Government as of 48 hours from yesterday.
Well, congratulations.
Or the day before yesterday. Yeah, I don't know how much of that was interesting, but
dude, I'm anxious. Like my asshole just unclenched.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm not being sued anymore. I technically still owe the city $27,000. That money does not exist. It's nowhere. I don't make that much in a year. You know, I'm a very. I don't think they knew I was poor when they sued me, or maybe they did and they just never expected to actually recover the money. The thing is that the lawyers who sued me get paid regardless. They were paid immediately. Uh, and so I don't owe the lawyers themselves money. I owe the city for having to pay the lawyers, uh, which is it's a cash grab. They could have sued anybody for anything, and as long as as long as the lawyers get paid, then everybody's happy, like, and so the lawyers get paid, and now the city is just negative 27 something thousand dollars in the hole, because I can't pay it, and if I ever get rich and famous, they might come looking for it, but it's unlikely that they will follow up on that 27,000 as long as I'm a broke bitch.
That was harrowing.
Yeah, dude. It's wild that they still say you owe 27K.
Yeah.
Like, in what world? Like, I mean, the lawsuit's dismissed. Like, so if you had said that you didn't want to sign the document to dismiss it and take it to a different lawyer and potentially countersue, then would that 27K go away as well, or is the city just going to always try to get that from you?
The way my lawyer put it, it's very unlikely that 27K would go away. The only way it goes away really is if the city waives it. Like, not the courts couldn't waive it. They've already decided I owe it. 3 different courts have decided that I owe it. The first judge that decided was like on his way out and not up for re-election, so he didn't have anything to lose by siding with the city, or whatever. Not that it would have hurt him, because that's what people wanted. They wanted me to get in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
they wanted me to get
Did you ever
the book thrown at me.
Did you ever try to like contact like the ACLU or something like that? Because dude, if the city of Ocean Springs sued me, dude, I would be on TV with Al Sharpton tomorrow, be like, I'm being oppressed.
So yeah, it almost went in that direction. The ACLU did reach out to me.
I figured they
and
would have.
Yeah, at the time, my thinking was that, one, I'm like doing silly comedy stuff. I don't really feel like I want the ACLU to, use resources on me. And then I found out later that they probably would have just used it to fundraise. So any money that we would have gotten out of it, they would have probably kept it, and put it toward, it's a nonprofit. So it's not like they would have, they would have just put it towards representing other people. Which I don't know if that's what I wanted. Like, if there was a chance of me getting money out of it, I'm poor and I wanted the money, I'm not going to lie. And so I just felt that also if the ACLU represented me, I would like have to watch what I say. They would want me to like be quiet about everything. And I'm a comedian. I'm trying to like talk about this sometimes, like it's done a lot for my comedy. If anything, people want to book me more just because I got sued. It doesn't matter that I'm funny.
See, you could have. I mean, you really could have if you'd have made a bigger stink, you probably could have taken this nationally.
It was almost national. The New York Times was interested, but there wasn't much of a climax or resolution. It could come back to the news now that it's like we just signed the document, so it's very possible that the local news will get wind that they're dropping the suit and want to talk about it again.
Because you would think, like left-leaning publications would be chomping at the bit to take down, idiot conservative mayor and city lawyers to take on, comedian.
It was a lot bigger locally than it was nationally. Gizmodo did cover it, because they're like an internet-based, technology-based publication. So I guess that was why it was up their alley. But yeah, they covered it and they definitely took my side. There was like some lawyer who runs like a law blog, and he covered it as well. There's a local professor that apparently taught a course where my lawsuit was part of the course. Me getting sued. Yeah, so people who are in college are learning about something I did, uh, even though I never went to college. I only know this because my best friend is the one who brought the lawsuit up to his professor, and like from there it became part of the program. So it's because my best friend kind of brought it to his attention, but it's still pretty cool. And like, it's on the books. I'm in history now. Like I am forever in case law, like when people study law, they will study this case, at least some of them.
So when when the mayor decided to do all the shit that he did and come after you, did he think you were? Did he know you were from Lafayette, or was he trying to go after you because you were a New York comedian, like that type of thing?
I had the same questions in the beginning. Man, I just don't know how much this guy was so out of touch. It's very likely that he didn't think that hard about it. Like he didn't care, like whether I was from
All he
Lafayette
saw
or
was
not.
Antifa, and it was just like, oh, can't let these fucking liberals come down here.
Yeah, they
Pretty
all
much.
talk like that in Louisiana.
Yeah,
I can confirm.
get my truck nuts ready. We got to go after this New York
We're all
comedian.
we're all boomhauer down here.
Boomhauer with too many vowels and an X.
Yeah,
Yeah, talking about dang old Take River Ranch, man.
it's just crazy, man. Like this is just it's insanity. Like that is such a waste of resources.
Yeah, and that's why they're dropping it. That's like kind of what the document that I signed says, that they don't want to spend any more resources. And yeah, that's it.
So, were you ever scared at any point? Because like until you said it was dismissed, I was so scared for you because you're in a situation where like the city is orchestrating it to where they can do literally whatever they want to you, and your
Yeah.
only option is to fight it in a court of the law that the city owns and runs.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but my only concern was, can I go to jail? And as our milkshakes here,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a milkshake. Thank you.
just let me get a sip.
Yeah, I'll FedEx it over.
Antifa takes a sip.
Because it makes me
Antifa
worried.
takes the sip. Let's go. Come on over.
Like what Jacob said, it makes me worried because you live there, and if they're targeting you, then you could get targeted by the police out in public for anything. Like you get pulled over, you get thrown in jail for anything they can find. Just
Yeah,
to
no, for sure.
like you're literally being harassed by city government.
That's accurate. However, I mean, like that is an accurate, or that is a valid fear or concern. However, it just hasn't been a problem. I did avoid working, like I used to when I was living in New York. I would work like front of house service industry a lot. I'm really good with like, being charming to dining customers and shit. But when I moved back to Lafayette, I had to go to the kitchen. I just could not, because like I work in not fine dining, but we call it elevated dining. And so a lot of people who rub shoulders with the people who sue me come to the places that I work at. And
Tell me
don't
the
wanna
truth.
have
Did
to-
you ever
Yeah.
did you ever put your balls in their food?
No,
They would
no.
pay more for that.
I don't really like. I mean, like I assume. I don't know for a fact. I just know that if I work as a server, I not only have to like interact with or potentially interact with some of the people who agree that I should have been sued. I have to be nice to them. I have to try to get a tip out of them, and I really don't like. That's just not me. I don't like. Like I don't mind being nice to people I've never like I have no relationship with, but I don't want to find out that I was nice to somebody who is like just one of the things that I think is wrong with my city. And so yeah, I'm working in the back of house now. It sucks. I'm sweating all the time. I get burned every day. It's cool. So yeah, that's one negative effect. But now that they're dropping the suit, I'm a little bit less wary about having to interact with people about it because it's a little validating. It's like, yeah, their reasoning is that it costs too much money, but what you're also saying by default is that it's not important enough to keep pursuing. That what I did was not a big enough deal for this, and that's what my argument was in the first place. Like, it's like, no, this is silly. You're being ridiculous, and yeah, and we figured that this would happen eventually. That they would eventually decide it wasn't worth the money. They couldn't justify the expenditure. But it wasn't until we got a new mayor that they made that decision. It's still the same lawyers. They just like don't want to keep doing it. I don't think that. I think that the lawyers would have to like check with the city to continue with the suit, and the city probably told them no. They probably said try to get out of it now because this is ridiculous and we can't afford it.
Because it reminds me a lot of you remember the what was it called, the Naruto run on Area 51?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Did.
That's what I mean. They asked me about stuff like that in the news, and yeah, that's kind of what it was inspired by. It was like, if we all go to River Ranch, they can't arrest all of us, you know. But I didn't expect anyone to actually go to River Ranch, and I was right. No one did. Like, it wasn't like, oh man, I messed up. I made this event, and now there's a riot. Like, nothing happened. There was no consequences. It was just feelings, just people and their feelings about it, which is like, I don't know. It's just a little more bizarre than I expected. I expected some gullible people. I didn't expect enough gullible people for them to take legal action against me. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think I was ever really scared because I knew right away that I wasn't gonna go to jail about it. Like through my lawyer, through other lawyers, and then through the fact that it's a suit and not a criminal charge. Even if I don't pay, I can't go to jail. Like, there's just no way that they can directly put me in jail for what I did, or they would have. And so knowing that, I felt pretty powerful or pretty like untouchable, because that's all I care about is having my freedom stripped away, and I'm already poor. So it's not like, owing $27,000 doesn't change my life in the slightest. Like, that number just hangs over my head, and I continue being poor around it.
My last question before we move on to some open micers questions. Do you think that you played any small factor into why Josh Gilroy did not get reelected?
I would love to take some credit for that, but he dug his own grave. There's so much stuff that he did while he so much corruption and like malfeasance and misappropriation of funds. He and his wife started a contracting company to do projects around the city with no experience, just so that they could hire themselves, but like so the city could hire the company to do projects. And that's like a direct conflict. So, I mean, that's literally using your office to make money. It's not allowed. It's like illegal. He also went to rehab during his term.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Let's elect him here.
And it was like,
that's okay, because that's what Jesus would do.
I said, oh man, I don't remember what I said. I said something about it when he went to rehab. It was after he sued me. So I'm like, this is awesome. But I was like, I said something about how, I too have been to rehab, like, it's like we're the same. Just acting like it was relatable and understandable. But his type of person, like if I went to rehab while he, if the roles were reversed and I had sued him while I was mayor and went to rehab being, a leftist liberal, they would have torn me a new one for being, a degenerate alcoholic. And but instead, because he's their darling conservative, then they like give him a pass and say, we're praying for you and we're glad that you're taking the steps that you need to. You know what? I side with people who struggle with abuse, with substance abuse. I've abused a lot of substances myself. I don't abuse as many anymore. I smoke weed every day. In fact, I am a little bit bummed that I forgot to roll a spliff for this, because I like to smoke on podcasts. Even I'm a bad boy. However, this guy has just no like goodwill built up to where I can have any sympathy for what he's done, or for like. Yeah, he's just got no redeeming qualities. There's no like, oh man, well at least you're getting help. Like he didn't come out of rehab a better person. Like he's still a piece of shit. Yeah, and my last interaction with him, because when you're a public official, it's illegal for you to block your constituents online. in fact, I think it's illegal to block anybody who could potentially. I don't know if that's true, but I think it's illegal for you to block anybody who could potentially be a constituent. So even while I was in New York, I think it was illegal for him to block me, which was fun for me because I tag him and stuff all the time, and I don't know what all I mean, you can maybe go and search my name and his name on Facebook and possibly find some posts where there's some funny stuff. There's a lot out there at this point. I don't know where it all is, but yeah. Fuck, I forgot what I was getting at. Yeah. So, my last interaction with him was he posted something about the Israeli-Palestine conflict protesters. And I said something catty to him, and then he responded. And then I said something about how that's like rich coming from someone who's done so much illegal stuff. I don't remember what I said, but I was like, he's like, hey, I noticed you're a top fan of my page. Thank you for being a supporter. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm a big fan of all the corruption and malfeasance. And then he's like, I don't know why you would say lies on the internet. And I linked the article about the corruption and malfeasance, and he blocked me. So we don't get to have fun anymore. Our Peter Pan Captain Hook relationship has come to an end.
That's too bad.
Oh, so he got a radio show too, by the way. He got a radio show after he lost his election. So both he and I are on radio stations. Maybe we can do something with that. I don't know.
Maybe you could call his show from your show.
Yeah.
Please do that, dude. Please do that. That's such a good idea.
Just make it an ongoing thing. Just torture that dude from now to eternity. Just everything you got put into it.
Man, I don't know how the screening process works for his show, but I would like to at least attempt something like this.
Dude, have Drew do it and then hand you the phone.
Dude, and Drew sounds like a supporter, so like I think that would be great. Drew has resting conservative face.
He does, dude. He could like make it sound real good too, and then hand it over to you.
Yeah, I think we're gonna collab on that. We're meeting up tomorrow. Now that I got my microphone working, we're probably gonna try to record.
I love the term "resting conservative face." I'm putting that.
I want to say that I kind of borrowed it from Jeremy Crawford, who's a comedian out of Baton Rouge. He says in his act that he has resting bigot face, and it's pretty funny when he says it. Yeah, I mean it's just pretty funny because he does, and it's funny because it's true. But yeah, that's kind of where I got the resting conservative face. I'm just ripping off Jeremy Crawford.
Well, this has been an awesome episode, but we're running low on time, so we might. Yeah,
we're literally out of time right after the lawsuit, dude.
We're gonna have to have you come back. So I hope you want to come back on the show.
Oh, because the Zoom limits your time.
No, we usually just go for an hour, and so we'll have to have you come back.
So y'all are setting the limits on yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one wants to listen to us for more than 5 minutes, and we force an extra 55 on them. So.
Is there can you have time for one open micer question?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna do. We'll do an open micer question. We'll do the penultimate open micer question, and then we'll roll the red carpet out for you to plug all your stuff a little bit. But the penultimate open micer question doesn't have anything to do with open mics really, but this question has really been a staple of the show. I mean, we've asked Sam Talent this question, Steve Byrne. I mean, living legends in comedy have been asked this question on this show. John Merrifield, when was the last time you shit your pants as an adult?
Oh, that's a great question, and I have the answer. I sharted in a Raising Cane's. Yeah.
That's my favorite country song.
I remember it vividly because when it happened, I was hungover. I don't drink that much anymore. I was sober for a while. Now I'm very moderating. But at the time, I was drinking a lot, and I was hungover, and I went to Cane's by myself and dined in by myself. I got a boot.
Dude, that's wild.
Myself. Yeah,
that's a wild move.
And I took a bite of my meal before I felt the gurgle, and I was like, "Ooh, I got a fart." No, I did not. I had a fully shit, and a little bit came out enough to worry me. I went to the bathroom. I lost my boxers in the trash. And I went back and finished my meal. But the reason I remember it is because I posted a life event on Facebook. You know, you can post a life event.
Yeah.
So I put sharded into Raising Cane's and ditched my boxers in the bathroom without anyone noticing. And it got like over 100 likes. It was people were very proud of me.
It's got to be one of the best, Jacob. It's in there.
Dude,
it's in the top
so
ones.
many wild moves. I don't know what's more depressing, like eating by yourself at the Canes, shitting yourself in the Canes, or going back to eat the Canes after you just shit your pants.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was hungry.
You have stated on the show that you are poor multiple times, and you did pay for that cane.
Oh yeah, exactly. Man, when Canes was new, me and my buddy Matt they had a Caniac card, and you could sign up for it and get a free Caniac combo. And all you had to do to get another free Caniac combo was get a different card and use a different address. You could theoretically use the same name. And we did that all over town until we exhausted all of the canes. So we've gotten many a free Caniac. Hell yeah, poverty.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, that's gotta be up there as one, man. We've got to make a super cut of these one day. That's just like the best, like the top 10 shit your pants stories.
Yeah, I'm working on
that's
some
in there.
videos like that for this show, where it's going to be like some good clips throughout the couple of years we've been here doing the show. But that's definitely a good idea. I need to do that one because this one's definitely got to be up there as one of the best.
Yeah, that's what's up. Best chart.
But we want to roll out the carpet for you in the few minutes we have left. We've got about 7 minutes here. I want to know about starting Oof Comedy. I want to know about what Ghost Roast is and starting Ghost Roast. And then I want you to remind everybody about where to listen to the radio show.
Okay, so Oof Comedy started as a game show, honestly. It was like a way I was trying to figure out my new act, and I wanted to do something like Norm Macdonald did on his show, where he like had other people read his jokes, and then like if it was bad, he would act like he didn't know how that got in there. You know, like I just thought I was super silly, so I made a game show that basically revolved around regular people reading comics jokes. And the comics would get points based on how well the jokes did.
Dude, that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts though. It was really fun a few times, but it was just very difficult to run. Anyway, so the show was called Oof, a comedy game show. And, you know, the jokes were supposed to make you go oof or whatever. I don't know. Well, the game show ended up, dying due to COVID. And I kind of just gave it up and turned that page that I made for it into just a meme page where I just shared comedy related stuff. And so I already had the page in place when I decided to move back to Lafayette, and I just turned it into my comedy entity, Oof Comedy. And you know, I already had the infrastructure. So and we had a logo. So I figured I'd use it. So yeah, that's where Oof Comedy came from. We used to have a period at the end of Oof, but people found it confusing, so I dropped it. So it's just regular OOF Comedy when you're looking for it on the internet. Ghost Roast is an idea that I had in the kitchen at one of my old jobs. It's just, you know, what it sounds like. It's like a character roast. It's sort of inspired by the Nerd Roast, which is like a roast they do in Colorado. It's run by Zach Reinert and Preston Tompkins, two very funny comics. Zach Reinert's one-liner comic, very funny guy. And there's this called Nerd Roast. They dress up as characters and they roast each other, like nerdy characters. So Ghost Roast is just people dressing up as dead famous people and they roast each other. You can find one of the inaugural one is on YouTube, I think. All right, what was the last question?
So tell everyone where to listen to the radio show, when you'll be on, what station, all that.
Yeah, we're going to be on Planet Radio 106.7 if you're in the Lafayette area. If you're not, you can listen online at listentotheplanet.com. You can also download the app, the Planet Radio app, and listen to us that way. It's every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. I don't think that there's going to be any recordings that stay up after So you got to listen to it live for now. We might, if it's, if we like what we're doing enough, we'll put the extra effort in to put it into a podcasting platform. But
And that's
right now,
not
you got to hear
9
it live or not at all.
9 p.m. Central.
Yeah, and it's called Laugh City Radio, spelled LAF, because we're from Lafayette.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a lot of stuff you've got going on over there, man. I've been looking at the Ghost Roast and following Oof Comedy and seeing you guys get your own radio show. Congratulations, man.
Thanks,
it's
man.
awesome that you're doing shit over there.
None of this stuff makes any money, so
Oh, we know.
Yeah, welcome to the club, brother.
We know.
If any of you out there want to sponsor the radio show or sponsor anything that I do, I'm accepting money of any amount at all times. I want to quit my job.
We feel you right there. We're right there with you.
Amen, brother.
But Jacob, so anything else we need to get to before we get out of here?
Not really, man. Just wanted to let all the listeners know that if you missed our last episode with Mo Alexander, it's probably one of the best episodes we've ever done in the show. You guys need to go check that out right now. We've been putting out so much good content lately, like those last 2 or 3 months. I mean, this episode was a fucking banger. Our episode with Shauna Christmas was a banger. So you gotta go listen to the podcast, tell a friend, recommend somebody. You gotta get in the Patreon at patreon.com/OM podcast. Watch me get tased. You fucking cowards. I'm the one who got tased. You can watch me get tased for $1.
And
dude.
this weekend,
Pay
we're
$1.
gonna be drinking ranch flavored soda. So,
and I will barf.
if you want to see us drink ranch flavored soda, that's going to be available this weekend on the Patreon.
Men will literally drink ranch flavored soda and get tased instead of going to therapy.
Exactly.
Why do you think I'm a comedian?
Oh,
yeah, dude, I will puke, and it's going to be on Patreon, so we don't have to censor it. It's going to be a wild episode.
I really wanted to be on the Juneteenth episode. I don't understand why it wasn't me.
Dude, you almost got a call. I almost booked we had a guest fall out, and I was almost told Mo, like, hey, we'll get you next week, and we'll have 2 white people on for Juneteenth.
Yeah. A lot of people call me the king of black comedy. So if you guys want, the king of black comedy to do your next Juneteenth episode, you just reach out to me.
Please.
I'll
Yeah,
be at
dude,
the Apollo. I'll be...
yeah, dude, we'll get you and Dr. Ass.
Oh man, Dr. Ass. He has a book. I'm gonna plug Dr. Ass's book. Don't forget
Dude,
to
please
get
plug Dr. Ass.
Dr. Ass's book. I don't know what it's called, but if you search Dr. Ass book, buy whatever you find.
Dude, I love when Dr. Ass gets plugged. You know what I'm saying, boys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Jacob, one more thing. Tell everybody where we're going to be at July 19th.
Oh, yeah. July 19th, we are going to be at Rally Cat Brewing in Baton Rouge. We will be on the Stone versus Drunk versus Sober showcase. Jason will be sober. I will be drunk once again. So you guys make sure to buy tickets. Come out, say hi, see the show.
room.
It's going to be a good time.
Well, thank you
that room a
again
few
to John Merrifield for joining us here tonight. Dude, thank you so much for being here with us. It was awesome. We got to get you back again soon and talk about all the open mic stuff. But before that happens, we need to get out of here. So if you want to email us at OpenMicersPodcast at gmail.com. Linktree.com/OpenMicersPodcast takes you everywhere you need to go. All the socials, the Patreon, all that good stuff. And also go to brezcoffeego.com. Use the code OMPodcast for 10% off your order. We love every single one of you, and we will see you right here next week.
Tifa takes Dr. Ass.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a fun time.
Yeah, it was. Let me
you guys
say
ever
goodbye. Help me say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Thank you all for watching, and we will see all of you next week.